3,500 years ago, there were guys who had to move stones and rocks for like probably no reason. And yes, it was quite a tedious task because rocks and stones are heavy. One guy out of nowhere came up with a log and he said, "Hey, this is a wheel and you can push it with that." Let's talk about pain today and why is pain more necessarily required than seeing it as something which discomforts us. Now, pain is quite an evolutionary feature and it has been with us since organisms were existing. Pain is quite necessary when it comes to applications in our lives. For example, just told you that wheels were invented to reduce pain of physically pulling that fucking stone out of the cave or whatever it is. This pain does not just vanish away at that point. Like now that wheel was invented, pulling it was easier, but it was still not as easy as it sounds. So they thought, okay, how about we automate this process? And now in 17th century, the steam engine was invented. Now they were like, okay, we need a lot of fuel for this. How about we go with something which doesn't even have fuel, because extracting fuel was also another painful process. So now 20th century, solar panels invented. Now we still have a problem that solar panels don't work at the night time, so we still haven't reached that point of inventing something out from there. We do something because we do not like the way it's done right now because it's causing pain, and we as humans try to come up with creative solutions or even evolutionary ideas to get over it. And pain is quite a biological sensation. Like, it's your brain telling you the command of why that thing might be harmful for you, for your survival. Let's take an example. You go stab your toe in a table and you'll be giving out words to the table. Now, the problem with that is you just let it go. You can't do anything about it. But what your body will do is that your body will unconsciously, subconsciously remember that if you go stab your toe, it might break your toe, which will lead you to stay home without moving for a long time. So your brain will automatically know that stabbing your toe is not good, and it will probably try to prevent you from going near those tables and chairs. But that's how body is supposed to work, because that is what pain does. It's physical pain we're talking about. Let's say you have a fracture, like a serious fracture. The point is that it doesn't hurt. If you have ever had a fracture, you know that it doesn't hurt. Why? The deed is already done. What does your brain have to warn you about saying it with pain? But yes, if you touch that point where it's fractured, it hurts. Why? Because your brain is now telling you that don't worsen it even more by doing something at that point. Leaving apart this physical pain and stuff, there is mental pain which comes up, and it has been evolved only like very shortly. Humans are not emotionally strong enough to handle the pain which we face. So let's try to decode that. Emotional pain is quite different when you cannot directly compare it with physical pain. Why? Because physical pain is simple. You fuck something up, it hurts, then you don't fuck up again. But when it comes to mental system, we are trained to take it differently. Like, let's say you scored bad in your test. Okay, you scored bad, so what? You learned that it hurts, it fucking hurts. Your parents scold you or your friends judge you. Now, if you were this non-evolved creature lurking around in the woods probably thousands of years ago, you would probably try to score better in the test. As simple as that. But now what happens is that you are constantly reminded of your pain again and again. Now, coming up, this is how this mental pain is structured. You fuck something up, pain happens, you analyze it. That's where everything goes wrong, because pain is not supposed to be analyzed. You just subconsciously take it that it hurts. But okay, let's say you analyze it. Now you come with imagination of a few sequences, like, if I would have read this particular chapter, it wouldn't have hurt that much. Or if I would have told this to that girl, she wouldn't have left me right now. There are two possibilities out of this thing. Either you come up with better sequences or you come up with worse sequences. So when you come up with better sequences, your brain automatically tells you that you are a fucking idiot. You didn't think about that. So it leads you back to pain. But whereas when it's this worse sequence, you unconsciously replace a part of your own actual story with that imagined story. Now, the story which actually happened with you gets cooked up, like how you see in Chinese whispers, if you have ever played Chinese whispers. Now, when you replace that story with your actual story, you re-narrate it with yourself or probably even to others, and that causes more pain. It's a simple and complicated graph. Now, let's try to solve this issue over here. It's not easy to just be done with it like right away, like boom, you don't feel pain again. And I can't even tell you to stop thinking about your past stuff, because we are humans. We can't stop doing stuff which feels good. There's a line in one of the songs called Heavy by Linkin Park where it says, I wanna let go, but there's comfort in this pain. You feel a bit of self-comfort and self-sympathy when you think about your own pain. Even though it looks like it's serving you for a short purpose, in the long run. Now, let's try to get this story back and try to find an exit point from the cycle. You fuck up, pain happens, you analyze it, you give some imagination for pretty different sequences. When better sequences come, you can pretty much do nothing and go back to pain. But when you imagine these sequences and something worse comes out, what you can do is, instead of replacing your story, you'll have to get conscious at that point and say, well, okay, whatever happened with me was better than at that point. Like, the worst thing could have happened. And you can introduce a little bit of gratitude and exit. That's the way you can exit the cycle. Now, it is not very easy to do it, and all you have to do is be aware of whenever you do the self-negative talk and whenever pain happens. And when that happens, when you all you have to do is voluntarily think of all the worst possible scenarios which could have happened with you, and then be grateful that all of those things didn't happen. It does not solve the entire problem in the long run, but as you keep practicing this, your habit starts to develop naturally, saying that when all these worst sequences have not happened to me, it's probably better that whatever happened to me was quite good. And with that thing, you might improve a lot from your mental rumination of your past pains. Nevertheless, thank you. I guess it's a very short clip. Probably like all of my clips are going to be only this long. The introduction was quite long, but we'll see how it works. Okay, until then, if you want to get notified of my next upcoming videos, click on the bell icon or subscribe. Or if you can, do you have to subscribe and click on the bell icon, or if you can click on the bell icon without subscribing. I don't know, like, just get yourselves notified by the grace of YouTube. Okay, until then, bye bye, take care. Valar Glaesis.